Over the last year, the New England Journal of Medicine has devoted much time and thought to the topic of data sharing. We have published dozens of articles from many different perspectives, viewing what the community thinks about data sharing, and in April, we hosted a data summit that brought together all of these constituencies so they could have an open and honest dialogue. On Monday, the New England Journal of Medicine, along with members of the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, together published a joint statement on data sharing. With me is Dr. Jeffrey Drazen, the editor-in-chief of the New England Journal of Medicine, to describe what was in this statement and what it means.
So the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors was founded over 40 years ago with the idea of providing guidance for authors in the research community to enhance the reporting of medical research. Over a year ago, we published a statement from the ICMJE asking for a comment on the possibility of sharing data from clinical trials. We got a lot of comments from that, and over the year after we published the statement, we had a long discussion among the editors, and yesterday we published an editorial saying that we will require a data sharing statement when an article is submitted after July 1st, 2018. A data sharing statement is a statement of what the authors will do. That is, what data will be shared with whom, for what purpose, at what time, and by what means. That statement will run with the article and will be, we hope, similar in all journals so that people will be able to understand the ecology in the world of data sharing. As of January 1st, 2019, we're going to require that similar information be put in a data sharing plan that is filed at the same time as any clinical trial that starts after July 1st, 2019. We realize that the data sharing plan may change from the time it's originally launched till the time that research is published from it, but the idea is for the investigators to think in advance about what data they plan to share, with whom, for what purpose, and at what time.
Could you describe a little bit more about some of the measures the ICMJE has taken to enhance the reporting of clinical data?
So the journal editors have gotten together to help make uniform the reporting of clinical trials and medical research in general. We have statements about authorship, but our probably most impactful statement was made in September of 2004 when we said that any clinical trial that was initiated after September of 2005 had to be registered in a database. And although there was some community uproar at the time we made the statement, a year later most entities complied, and now registering your clinical trial at the time of inception is common. So moving forward to individual patient data sharing is part of this ecology. We're trying to improve the ecology of clinical trials reporting so that we can honor the commitment made by the people who were in the clinical trials.
One of the big things that came out at the Data Summit in April was that a lot of the community, especially the patients, were saying, open the data right now. What do you say to those who think that this doesn't go far enough, fast enough?
So we think that eventually we'll probably be there. But the infrastructure to allow people to report data is not easy to build, and it's not inexpensive, and frankly doesn't exist. So we can't require people to use something that doesn't exist. So our dates are into the future. January of 2019 is when we're going to be requiring that a data sharing plan be filed when you register your clinical trial. This will give the clinical trial registries adequate time to build the software and to test it in their systems to show that it works. For data sharing to work seamlessly, it requires a lot of planning, a lot of energy, and a lot of resources, and those are not yet available. So to require that would mean that we would stop the research machine because people simply don't have those resources available. We think in the long run we're going to get there, because we need to make sure that we honor the commitment to those people who enrolled in clinical trials. When people put themselves in a clinical trial, they put themselves at risk. We owe them a debt, and this is a way to help pay that debt back.
Thank you, Dr. Drazen, for having this conversation with me. I invite you to go to nejm.org to read the full statement. Thank you.